Hello everyone. Today we look at the last type of foundation, its design, and where we can use them. So let's get into it. Hello everyone. Today we are going to be looking at the last type of footing or foundation. Now before we do that, I just want to say these foundation types that we have been looking at, it is not important for you to memorize the names, okay? What you have to instead know is the use. So where to know where to use whichever is what is important, okay? The names are not really important, but if you are able to identify any situation where like we've been explaining, if you can identify the situation or you know which appropriate footing will go there, that is what is important. Okay, so for this next type, let's say you have 3 plots of land. This next type mostly goes into city areas, okay? Let's say you have 3 plots of land like this. Okay, like this, okay? Now, let's say this is your plot of land, this one in the center. And of course, in the course of you constructing your building, of course, you're going to have pillars. So let's say the pillars are at the angle like this. So you have some pillars at the angle like this, at this angle. They must not all be like this, but let's just say maybe you have all the pillars aligned at the angle, or maybe just some, you know, and stuff like that. Okay, so from the methodology of footings, like what we have been looking, you are going to notice that when you have a footing like this, a pillar rather, like this, for you to construct the footing, it has to go around like this, okay, like you see here. So if we were to apply that same methodology here, you're going to see that for this pillar, for example, the footing is going to come like this. But if we want to go like this, we're going to be entering this other person's property like this, which is not good, because I don't think anybody will allow you to enter the property because you're constructing your structure. So at the end of the day, we're going to end up having a pillar like this with a footing halfway like this. Now this kind of footing, or this kind of pillar, this kind of situation, this is called an eccentric footing, okay? But we cannot allow this footing like this, because even this one is going to be like this. We cannot allow them like this. Why? Because there is a chance of the building overturning, and we don't want that to happen, because if it overturns, it's going to be very catastrophic. So what do you do in a situation like this? What you do is, as this pillar is here, we are going to put another pillar maybe here in the center. Not really necessarily in the center, it just depends. And then of course this one is going to have its full footing like this, and then we connect the two with a beam like this. Okay, now of course this is just not any ordinary beam. So if we were to look at it in a section, we're going to have, let's represent the same situation down here. We are having something like this. So we have that pillar at the edge, we have this other one in the center here. This one has its normal footing without any problem, while this one is an eccentric column, so it has its footing just at the angle, let's just say like this. Okay, so what we do is we bring out a beam like this that is going to link the two footings together. Okay, now this beam, what is called a strap foundation, which is the next and the last type of foundation that we'll be looking at. Strap foundation like that. Okay, let's look at how that is going to look like in a section. So let's say we cut a section here. So we cut a section through like this, and we look down. So we're going to have something like this. We have the pillar, this pillar, we have this like this, we have this other pillar like this, and then of course coming down we're going to have our footing. This one comes all the way out, but for this other one it's like this. Okay, so we connect the two with the beam, but the difference between this beam is this is a strap foundation, so it is not really a normal beam that is just linking maybe the pillars. No, it's a foundation, so it has to lift from the ground, it has to rest on the ground like any other foundation or footing. Okay, so we connect it with a beam like this, which of course is resting on the ground, as you can see. So this here, this beam here is what we call our strap foundation. Of course it is also reinforced, it's heavily reinforced even, and in some cases it might even extend and come right up to the pillars, maybe even above here. It depends on how the design is going to look like, but you get the idea. So instead of allowing this pillar like this footing like this, rather you connect the both of them with this beam which rests on the ground, the same level of which all your foundation or your footings are going to be resting, and this is called a strap foundation. Okay, of course this is also heavily reinforcement. Let me just demonstrate that by cutting a section. If I was to cut a section, say through like this, you are going to have something like this, and of course at the top you have your reinforcement rods. Let's just say you got 3 at the top, you get maybe 3 at the bottom, and also some at the side. So it's also is very heavily reinforced because this is also functioning as a foundation. Okay, so that is it for our last example of a foundation or footing. I hope you have found this tutorial very helpful, and please, I just want to emphasize on the fact that these footings or all these foundations that we've been covering is not meant for you to cram them, but to understand and to just understand them. Okay, so wherever you meet any situation, you know that no, this is what I am going to do there. That is what is important. It is not necessary for you to really cram them. Okay, so thank you, and see you in the next tutorial.